Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I kind of jumped right into it today. I don't know if I did all the settings and everything. I believe everything should be all right. How is everybody doing? I'm today here together with my friend Armin Navabi. Armin, how are you doing?
Good. I almost said mercy because I'm doing so many Persian streams. I almost thanked you in Persian, but yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this, by the way. Not that many people respond yes to this. This is a very important information that I wish more people was said yes to because, um, I mean, it's amazing how many content creators are fighting religion or Islam and dogma, and then when the greatest movement against religion and dogma is happening right now, they don't really pay much attention to it. So, but you're one of the very few channels that has said yes to me twice now, in response to me asking you to cover this. The movement, the revolution that is happening in Iran, which is, by the way, I think it's the most secular revolution that has ever happened in the history of mankind, and not just secular but anti-religion. Yeah, so
Yeah,
again,
it's
thank
kind
you
of
for covering it.
no problem. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm doing the bare minimum, to be honest. I could have done much more while everything is happening. But it's kind of sad to see that so many people, so many anti-theist, atheists, and all that in the West don't seem to care. Seem to be completely ignoring the whole thing that is going on in Iran, despite the fact that, as you pointed out, this is a huge political, a huge humanitarian political issue, a possible revolution with enough support by by secular people against an a brutal theocratic regime that abuses democracy and oppresses people to brutal extents in the name of their great religion. Uh,
Yeah,
there should be much more voice, much more noise about this. But yeah,
I mean, how could you be an atheist activist and have missed this? Like, there has never been such a mass exodus out of religion ever in history of mankind, and you are living it through it as an atheist activist, and you're not even talking about it. It's unbelievable. I don't even understand it. A lot of people are saying it might have something to do with like atheists in the West being leftist and not touching Islam, but some of these people have a history of like at least talking about these things before, so I don't know why they're shy about it now. And it's not like I haven't contacted them, and and they've seen my messages. I see that they have seen my messages, and they I don't understand.
because people that get this is the thing about, I don't know, this is the problem. Like people in the West, they see the concerns, they see the problems that are going on in the Muslim worlds, and they kind of get used to the idea that, oh, you know, that part of the world, you know, lots of bad stuff happens all the time. I don't know, oppression, terror happens all the time. We know all of this, and they get used to it. Then they start ignoring it, especially since in their Western perspective and mindset, they're more focused on um, more, I don't know, mundane, more you know, less important things that are going on in the West that everyone wants to focus on. People try to appeal to what everybody else is interested in. Not everyone is really eager
Mm.
to point at something so obvious that is happening. I mean, if people were actually so consistent and so aware and so virtuous, maybe they would pay attention and also make everyone else pay attention to the fact that many of the countries that we are still allied with as Western nations in the Middle East and in other parts of the world have atrocious laws against blasphemers, against apostates, against gay people. I mean, this is a funny thing. For example, when news came out that Brunei is going to um, install a death penalty for apostates, blasphemers, and gay people, people were like, no, what is this? This is the 21st century. Meanwhile, so many Muslim countries already have that, but nobody cares. They just go after whatever is on the news if it concerns them.
Yeah, and it's also is so undeserving because also the people. I mean, for example, in Iran, even though the government is so brutal and so religious, if you look at the demographic of the people, they're actually ahead when it comes to demand for secularism and even the growth of atheism compared to a lot of way more advanced countries. If you look at how self-identifying atheists in Iran, they are close to 10%. But if you actually look at people who don't believe in God and religion, it gets up to 20%, which is comparable to many advanced countries, which
Mhm.
like other people don't even. And based on the latest data that we have, Iran, like we talked about before, it's a Muslim minority country. Uh, Up to I think 30 something percent only Muslim. So we have a government that is Islamic that has taken the people hostage. The people are not even majority Muslim. And it's not just atheism. This is not just atheism. These are people who are that hate religion, that hate Islam. I don't think you could find any other country in the world that hates Islam. I'm not talking about Muslims like some other places where there might be some bigotry or so, but that actually despises Islam as much as Iran. This is if Iran one day gets free, I think you're going to see a major anti-Islamic movement grow out of it and spread around the entirety of the Middle East. And I have the data to back that up, and also some evidence for that.
We
But
actually
yeah,
went through that here on this live stream, didn't we? On this channel. I believe the last time that we went live,
yeah.
or before that, I don't know, but we did talk about the fact that there was a survey which showed that many people in Iran, maybe most people, don't really believe in Islam anymore. They don't really believe in the core Islamic beliefs anymore, which was
Mhm.
pretty surprising. And
Yeah,
and
and
this is
also
the
the
and this is the regime that actually probably caused this. So maybe we should ironically thank them for having such a
the
horrible
only
system which pushed people away from Islam.
Yeah, the only good thing about this regime is that, but and the interesting thing is that there was a major part of the population that wasn't just against mandatory hijab. That was one question that you saw the majority of people were against. The polling showed that the major part of the population is against hijab, not
Mhm.
mandatory hijab, against hijab as a whole, as a concept. Not so they're against both mandatory hijab and voluntary hijab. This is like a lot more radical than a lot of anti-religious people in other countries. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah. So now what happened is, so inside Iran, like you know what me and you do, especially you, right? um there are a lot of people who do that inside Iran, right? So, but obviously anonymously. Like they have Telegram channels, they make videos against Islam, and they spread it around. But me and you are doing that from a position of safety. I mean, relatively, because I know you've been threatened a couple many times, right?
Mhm.
But they are doing it from inside Iran, knowing that the punishment for it is execution. And just
Yeah.
recently, two of these people were just executed. I don't know if you want to see their pictures.
Let's do that. Let's do that. If you want to share your screen, I will leave you to that.
Okay. So these are the two people who were just executed. They were both, according to their sentences, they were managing a Telegram group where they were posting content against Islam, including insulting content, including burning the Quran and stuff like that. But it was apparently a semi-popular Telegram channel, and so they were caught with and now they're executed, right?
Mhm.
So their names are Yusuf Mehdad and Sayyid Sadrullah Fazali Zareh. So they both had Islamic backgrounds. They both had religious background, like they came from religious communities, but they both turned to ex-Muslims and were making content against Islam while living in Iran. Also, the interesting thing is that both of them, while they were still anonymous and nobody knew who they were, um, they both saw clerics announcing that whoever is managing these Telegram channels need to be executed. So their execution sentence had came out before they were even found out, and they still continued their activities, showing
Wow.
how much they believed in what they were doing, right?
Very defiant.
So
And, yeah.
yeah. So I posted this on Twitter. I will just read what I wrote, so I give people a quick summary. I wrote this: in Iran, 2 prisoners, Yusuf Mehrad. Here it says Mehdad, but I think it's wrong. It should say Mehrad, not Mehdad. Yes, Yusuf Mehrad and Sayyid Sadrullah Fazli Zareh have been transferred. Oh, so this I posted this before they were executed. Okay, so they were transferred to solitary confinement, and we were trying to make a lot of noise, trying to get people to post about it, and there were a lot of people were going in front of the prison trying to stop the execution. And this was also in response to, let me find the tweet for that, the sister of, oh, here it is, right? So this is a plea for help. This was right a day before the execution, right? It was a plea for help from the sister of one of these the two guys, Yusuf Mehrad, and here this is what she said. She says she posted this and trying to get the execution to stop. So she says, Salam. She says, hi. من خواهر یوسف هستم. I am the sister of Yusuf. اعلام کنین فردا ساعت 3 صبح قبل از اذان صبح همه جلوی در زندان باشن. She says, please let everybody know tomorrow 3 in the morning, before the morning azan, the call to prayer, to be in front of the prison. The reason why she said that is because they execute, listen to this, Redwan. They execute people at the morning azan, at the morning call to prayer, right? So they have to even remind people that this is about Islam. All the executions are like that, right? So you actually, I wish I had this ready. There are a lot of people writing on walls. They say, I shit on your morning prayer. That's what people are writing on walls in Iran. And because they say you take the best of us with your morning azan, when your morning call to prayer. So I don't know what this government is trying to do, because everything they do is making people hate Islam more and more and more, because when they do this. But so then she continues, it says, تو رو خدا ما دست به همه چیز زدیم هیچی نشد. She says, please, we tried everything, nothing worked. فردا قبل از اذان گفتن تموم میکنن. They said tomorrow, right before the morning azan, the call to prayer, they will kill them. مردم کمکمون کنن. Say people, tell people to help us. ما الان راه افتادیم عراق. Like she says, we're heading towards the prison. صدای ما باشید. She says, be our voice. هر جا میشه اعلام کنید. Like, tell this everywhere. Obviously, it didn't work. They were executed. They were both executed. And let me tell you, the way they execute, I want to remind people how they execute in Iran, because I don't think there's any other country that does it this way. Like every other country, when even the countries that have executions, they try to do the execution where it's painless. In Iran, where they hang people, it's not the same way that the way you see it in movies from the Wild Wild West. You know how in movies from the Western movies, when they hang somebody, a trapdoor opens underneath you and you fall and your neck breaks and you die right away, right? That's the so-called humane way to do it, if you could call it that. But in Iran, they can't even do that. The Islamic Republic of Iran has managed to be even more barbaric than Islam. I know that's very hard to do, but in Islam, what they do, the way that you're supposed to be executed is to cut your head with a sword, right? So, and it's supposed to be with one swoop, not like so that you don't torture the guy to death. But they, in Islam, the Islamic Republic of Iran, they had to be more barbaric and sadistic than Islam itself, which is such a hard thing to accomplish. What they do is that they put the noose around your neck and they lift you.
Oh yeah,
and they lift
with
you.
a crane, right? Is that what they do?
Yeah, with a crane. So you suffocate slowly, right? And the pressure on your neck is so high. Some people had chewed their tongues out. Sometimes it takes up to 20 minutes for some people for them to die. They have a doctor there and they come and constantly check you to see if you're still alive. That's how they kill people. I don't understand why they have to do that. Why do they lift them so that they die slowly? I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. They want to induce fear. It's a fear tactic, right? So, yeah.
That is just, it is so messed up. I mean, there are public executions in place in different countries, and where public executions are also supposed to serve as, to induce fear, to make others not commit the same crimes. But even then, they do the executions, as you said, in a more quick way, like just with a sword through, and that's it, or hanging and breaking the neck, that's it. But that they would do it like this, and on top of inducing fear and repelling people, from such crimes, then also making such a show of it, and deliberately, obviously not avoiding the horrific sight and the horrific pain, deliberately just continuing it. That is just so messed up beyond reason. It's crazy.
Yeah, and for this to happen in the middle of all this revolution where people are so angry and they're trying to topple the regime, you might ask, why would they do this? Why are they trying to make people even more angry? And the idea is like maybe they're trying to show that they still have teeth, that they still have claws, and they could still bite back. But if the goal is that either the goal is to make people fear insulting Islam, or to show that they have power, but the response should be, I think, in my opinion, and you could challenge me on this, because I've been arguing this against many other atheists in Iran. Like, they're in Iran right now, the atheists are in two camps. One's that like, oh, we shouldn't be insulting Islam, we should only be criticizing it. And other people like us are like, no, if this is what they are killing people for, we need to do this. We need to do exactly what they're killing people for, 1,000 times more, right?
Yeah, you cannot step down.
Yeah. So here, so me and many other people, this is what I wrote. And I said, 2 individuals in Iran have just been executed on charges including insulting the Prophet, apostasy, and the desecration of the Quran. The Islamic Republic's judiciary announced the executions of Yusuf Mehrad and Sadrullah Fazeli Zareh. When violence is used to intimidate us into silence, it must backfire. If we don't respond, we are allowing these intimidation tactics to succeed. I urge you to post a video or an image where you desecrate the Quran. Our lack of response encourages further violence, right? So I also posted this video, but I'm going to show you a lot of other Iranians did the same thing. And then after I show you that, I also want to show you the fact that to show people why this is a bigger movement. This is like a major anti-Islamic movement happening in Iran, right?
Right, here, just a gift from me before we go on here.
Let me join you.
Feel free to join in. I just have a bunch of Quran pages still on the ground because it always comes handy in response to provocations and inhuman behaviors and killings and threats and whatever it is. So I would like to always, this should be a norm. This should become normalized. I don't care if some people say we shouldn't be doing this, don't do this. What is useful about that? But be respectful. No. This should be normalized. I want to do this as much as possible. In fact, I would love to do this every single day in front of everyone's eyes until nobody cares anymore. That's the aim. That's the goal. Until nobody even gives a response to this anymore. Because it should be normalized. Because there's nothing wrong with it. Because this actually costs lives, as you can see.
Mm-hmm. So more, you can see. There is a lot of videos like this coming from inside of Iran right now, that where people are desecrating the Quran. I could show you many of these. I don't want to. There's a lot of people doing other things with it. This is from inside of Iran. You can see they're hiding their face.
Mm-hmm.
That was in response to the execution. There were also Azad Farsani here, who decided to burn the Quran in response. But there was also this interesting thing people are doing. Azad Farsani also just stepping on the Quran, right? I do want to show you.
I will join in, by the way, on that, and I will announce it soon. But I will definitely organize an event where I will burn
Desecrate.
a Quran and announce it in advance in order to draw more attention to it. Just because some people thought, oh, you cannot do that. That you don't have the guts to do it. It's very, very easy actually, and there was even recently this guy who works at Five Pillars UK, who he recently mocked the death of what's his name, the one Muslim reformer critic who recently died from India.
Yeah.
I forgot what his name is, but he died and he wished to be cremated. And this Five Pillars UK guy remarked about that. He wanted to be barbecued, and now he's going to be barbecued even more, or something like that. So they love to make light and
God.
fun of humans dying, being burned, and then burning in the hereafter in hell, according to their own beliefs. I would like to respond to that soon by burning the Quran.
It's amazing how they also claim that they are the arbiters of morality, and that we can't have morality without religion. Yeah, and that's how they behave. So by the way, I do want to mention that they are in response. This is the hashtag that you guys were responsible for, that desecrate the Quran, right? So in response to the execution of these two people in Iran, Iranian people are bringing the hashtag that you started. They're bringing that back, the desecrate the Quran. Yeah, so that's awesome. That's interesting. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Also, I want to show you this. So he says, this is for Kian, and I will tell you about Kian. And he says, I shit on Islam. So there's a hashtag that often gets trended in Iran. It says, "Redem to Islam," which means I shit in Islam.
Oh.
And he says that was for Kian. That was for shitting in Islam, and this is for the two people that you executed today.
Yeah.
And then.
Nice. That's a good switch.
Yeah, but so Kian, so he then burns them, right? But Kian, let me show you what Kian represents, okay? So Kian Pir Falak was a 9-year-old boy that was killed during the protests by the armed forces, the Islamic regime's armed forces.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that comment, right? But listen to this, please. So Kian was a 9-year-old boy that he was shot by the Iranian regime's armed forces, right? Mm-hmm. And during the regime tried to hide that. The regime tried to hide that information, but the mother was brave enough to, because they tried to threaten her to give a different narrative. But the mother was so brave and so determined to make sure people know what's happening, right? Mm-hmm. At the funeral of her son, this is the video from her funeral, right? A massive crowd showed up, like a giant crowd. The pictures were insane, right? Because they showed up just to protest the government killing a 9-year-old boy, right? And while she was speaking, and this is why that man mentioned Kian, because while she was speaking, she told the crowd, let me play it, and then, she told the crowd that my son, don't recite the Quran for my son, because that's what they usually do at funerals. Mm-hmm. She said, don't recite the Quran for my son. My son hated the Quran.
Wow.
And when and this is inside Iran. And when she said that, the crowd cheered. I mean, Imagine that. Can you imagine this happening anywhere in the world? The mother of a dead 9-year-old boy saying, "My son hated the Quran," and a giant crowd cheer. What kind of a crowd cheers that? A crowd that hates Islam.
Yeah.
But here, listen to it. If you don't believe me, look at the response the crowd has. So she says, "Aslan برای بچه‌م قرآن پخش نکنید." They said, "Don't play Quran for my son. Don't at all play Quran for
We
my
can't
son."
hear it. We can't hear it.
You can't?
Yeah, I think you need to share with audio thing.
Oh yeah, okay. There we go. Let me go back. اصلا برای بچه‌م قرآن پخش نکنین. Like, don't in any way play Quran for my son. That's the response. Like, my child hated the Quran, and the chat and the crowd cheers.
Wow.
The crowd cheers inside Iran. This is the response to somebody hating the Quran, right?
Wow.
And that's why we have a problem right now with some atheists in Iran who wants to tell us, like, oh, don't say insulting things about Islam. Just, politely criticize it. Don't insult it. Don't desecrate the Quran. But the other atheists are like, you guys are so far behind where the Iranian people are. Okay, this is not about the Iranian people. When it comes to leaving Islam, we're ahead of many other countries. We have entered a new phase. We're at war with Islam. And I will tell you why this revolution is not just about the government. It's about the entirety of Islam as a whole. This is a war against Islam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to bring down this government, we need to bring down Islam.
Yeah.
And I will make that argument. But
can,
I want to show you another.
Can you switch the thing to full screen when you show a video?
Okay, I will do that. I will do that with this video now. Okay,
so it's incredible. I can't even like Turkey is supposed to be a secular country, right? But I can't even imagine such a response to such a thing in Turkey. So
right.
It is incredible that in Iran, in response to the oppression, to the tyranny, such a movement is developing.
Yeah. So this is another video I want to share. This is Majid Reza Rahnavard. Okay, he resisted, like, the morality police came to his neighborhood and was causing. They were harassing people, and he resisted, and he ended up taking out some of them. Right, and they arrested him, and they executed him. Right, for defending his neighborhood against the morality police, right? They before his execution, so he died. But before his execution, they wanted to show the public that this man is evil and he deserves his execution. So they recorded this to embarrass him. But it backfired. What he said in this video turned him into a national hero. He was already a national hero, but he became a lot more popular. Like, this shows how out of touch the government is with the Iranian people. So listen to what he said. And remember, this is him in arrest. Like, look, listen to what he's saying, and imagine the bravery that it takes to say this, not knowing whether you're going to be executed. While the Islamic regime holds you, this is what you say. And they wanted to get this on camera because they wanted to show everybody that this man is evil. But look at what he says, right? Hey, like, what did you write in your will? Like, tell people what did you write in your will. They want to embarrass him. They want to show. Like, I told them where to bury me. I don't want them to cry at my grave. Like, no, look, he's like, no, he wants them to tell the other part. He said, you don't want them to read the Quran? You're like, yes, don't read the Quran. Don't read the Quran for me. Don't pray for me. They're like, I want them to be joyful. I want them to play happy music. Right? So he says, when they kill me, don't read the Quran. Play happy music at my funeral. right?
وصیت‌نامه شما.
So yeah, that was it.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. And it's amazing. This turned him into a hero. It had the opposite effect of what they intended, right? And again, this is why I'm telling you, this is a secular anti-religion revolution. And I have more to show that this.
You are right.
that
These guys don't know what they're dealing with. These
they have
idiots
no
don't-
idea.
They have no idea what they're dealing with. They are out of touch with how the people actually feel, especially how probably the younger people probably feel about this. Just, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
This is
By the way-
pretty solid.
Yeah. Guys, remember this guy's name, Majid Reza Rahnavard, because this guy is our hero. This guy defended the people in his neighborhood against the regime, and then he died for it, right?
Mhm.
I want to show you other heroes. So right now, the regime in Iran is very, very scared because of the Mahsa revolution, they came very close to being toppled, right? So now they don't want to enforce the mandatory hijab laws like they did before, because they know if they enforce it, another Mahsa will happen and there will be a major wave coming at them, and it could be the last wave of protests, right? That will end them for good, right? So they are stuck right now because they don't want to enforce the hijab laws, but there's also a lot of very, very religious people who are now turning against the government because they said that this is supposed to be an Islamic country. Why are you not enforcing the hijab laws, right? So they're stuck between the people who are secular and then the majority, but also a minority of people who are very religious. But even though they're a minority, that's the last leg of support that the government has. So if they lose them, they have no one. So this is a very difficult situation for the regime right now. So because the regime is not enforcing the hijab laws anymore, there are some religious people that are going around and they're becoming civilian enforcers. They're trying to enforce, like they're trying to tell women to cover up, to wear the hijab, right? So, and they get surprised how people react because now people feel like they have the upper hand. These are the same people that used to get intimidated by religious people. Now the tables have turned, and this is a video of that, right? So you have a religious guy on this train, on the metro, trying to tell a woman to cover up. So right, and this is not a police or anything. She just is a random religious person, right? Trying to take the law in his own hands, and this is how people respond. Look. So people in the train are telling him to get the hell out, get out, like get the hell out, like you have no right to this woman to cover. So they push them out. So okay, this is very. So you have to see. This is the small guy. The small guy here. That's the guy who was the religious guy. This is one man that is pushing him out of the train because he dared to tell a woman to cover up. So he pushed him out, right? And look at so you see this guy. This guy is like another big guy. He wants to get to him because he wants to have his way with him, right? And there's a guy in yellow that came from here that he just slapped him, right? So people are basically taking turns to beat the guy, right? So the guy with the yellow shirt here, he just got out of the train just so that he could slap the religious man, right? That was one slap. But also now pay attention to this big guy that got out. This guy, look at the way he's leaving the train. He's like going in like this because he wants to have his turn. This big guy right here. Look at this. Now, look. The guy behind the camera is like, just punch him in the mouth already. Like, why are you not punching him in the mouth already? Like everybody in the station seems to be wanting for this guy to be put in his place, right? And then look at this guy. The religious man is like, don't hit me. And then that was a leg that was like leg sweep at the end. But nasty. So what?
Well, why is the guy so small anyway? Why does he think he can just get in everyone's business despite his small stature because he thinks that he has.
Because they have a history of
Yeah,
thinking
okay.
that they could do this, because these people were
Wow.
in power. These people are not used to people talking back. They were
That's amazing, man.
they used to feel these religious people, when they went around and and they showed their religious authority, people used to be quiet, people used to be intimidated, people used to like get, yes sir, sorry sir, like that. They are not used to people even talking back to them, let alone hitting them.
That's amazing.
This is, yeah.
And there are very rare times that I would sit down and get pleasure out of seeing somebody get beat up, attacked, or anything like that. But I mean, in this situation, it is completely well deserved, and it's good news. It is good news because those people, the religious authorities and the vigilantes, are acting in favor of an oppressive, tyrannic government that actually kills people. That kills people, brutally beats people into submission, oppresses the hell out of people. And now we see the people actually fight back. People fight back, come back, and beat them up, beat them back. And that is great. That's a good development.
Yeah. These religious people are the same people that came out in the streets and had signs saying #execute, like saying the government, why are you not executing more people? These are those kind of people, right? These are the same people when they eventually did those executions. They did 4 executions, right? Initially, during the revolutions, they came and they were celebrating. These people want blood. And they think that they are less than 10% of the population, and they think they can enforce this Islamic law on the rest of them. And they need to feel fear because they made the entire country. They took the entire country hostage for 40 years. So the fear they feel right now is completely justified.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show you this. These are a collection of pictures that I posted from inside Iran. Again, guys, this is inside Iran, right? But that's why you see their faces not shown, right? The collection of pictures that I'm going to show you is women posting without hijab in Iran, which is illegal, but they do it in front of signs telling you how great hijab is, like Islamic signs about the virtue of hijab. And it's becoming now a favorite thing of women and girls to do in Iran, to pose hijabless next to signs of reminding people to wear their hijab, right? So let me just show you the selection that I have here.
Wow.
Yeah. And the more keeps coming. It keeps coming. Like, these are just a few. Like, as soon as I posted it, it's either more that I couldn't even share. Yeah.
This is amazing, man. Yeah, it makes me a little bit emotional. It's it's good to see. It is really great. It is inspiring to see the I don't know, you see the power of numbers, of masses coming together and encouraging each other, or being encouraged by each other to fight against this tyranny and express themselves in such a beautiful way. That's so good to see, man.
So here's why it's so intelligent for a lot of the people during this revolution to go at Islam, right? Because the entire regime's authority comes from the idea that they are Islamic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so if the people don't want Islam, if the people don't want Islamic rule, that means the government has no authority. And this is where the hijab comes in. Because it might seem that this is about women wanting to have the choice not to wear the hijab, But it's not that. It's not about the hijab. That is, of course, something that they want. Okay, but women, just in the same way that the government, the Islamic regime, has made the woman's body and putting hijab on their head a weapon to demonstrate their authority, their Islamic authority, and their power upon the people, right? Because everywhere someone is wearing a hijab inside Iran, it was a demonstration that the Islamic regime has authority here, that they have made this. If the woman's body had become a billboard for advertising, for promoting the regime's ideology, right?
Mhm.
And it's the most visible sign that this is an Islamic country. So in the same way now, women taking off their hijab has become a weapon. Just in the same way that the regime has weaponized the hijab, now women taking off their hijab have weaponized the symbol against the regime. So taking off your hijab is not just an act of protest for your freedom, but it's an act of protest to show that you are weak, that I am doing something against your Islamic laws, that you have no authority here, that you are incapable of forcing this rule on me. And because it's so visible, because there's many signs that I could show you that these people are standing up against Islam, but this is the most visible one. You could see it when you go in Tehran right now, and you see half the women are not wearing hijab. Where Mahsa Amini died for wearing improper hijab, and now women are not wearing the hijab at all. When you see that, right, you are saying that we're taking this country back. This is a signal that we're taking this country back. So that's why one of the chants during this revolution was hijab faqat bahune ast, asl nizam nishun ast, which means that the hijab is just an excuse. Our target is the entirety of the regime.
It is, as you say, the hijab is not just a religious it's not just a religious obligation, not simply a religious practice, not something that you do for your religion. In Iran, it is the hijab is a sign that you are loyal to the system, right? To the Iranian regime, to the government, to the moral system, to whatever moral entity that is supposed to represent. Women wearing their hijabs all over, all the women appearing in hijabs means the government is in control. The people are loyal to the government. They belong to the government. They are subjects of the government. If the women suddenly begin taking off their hijab, it is hugely symbolic. It basically means the loyalty is fading. They are throwing the loyalty away. They are taking it off and throwing it away. They are taking off the shackles and throwing them away. They are freeing themselves from this. They are no longer being subjugated. They are not only in disagreement, they are detaching themselves entirely from the idea that they must somehow retain this loyalty, that this is somehow their existential purpose. So it means great changes happening, and the regime, although they recognize that this is what it stands for, fails to realize how strong the sentiment actually is.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do recognize that, because that's why they're so afraid, because they themselves have said out loud on TV, on the national TV, the government officials that said, if we don't enforce the hijab, and then we see that most people don't want the hijab, we have said to the people that the Islamic Republic is in power because the people of Iran want Islam. So if the Iranian people demonstrate that they don't want Islam, that will be the end of us. That would be the end of us.
Yeah, basically.
And it gets even worse. There were recently leaked documents from IRGC members explaining the situations to the Supreme Leader Khamenei. And that meeting's minutes was leaked out, right? And they were warning Khamenei that even within IRGC, people are losing faith in religion, right?
Yeah.
That's I don't know if you understand how big of a deal this is. This is the IRGC, the Quds Force, which is the most Islamically ideological part of the regime, they're saying that there is a mass exodus out of religion. So we're not talking about the average Iranian. We're talking about the most religious part of the armed forces of the government, and there is a mass exodus out of religion within those units.
Wow.
So this is why again, targeting Islam means that people within the regime themselves, because if they lose the faith in Islam, they wouldn't be loyal to the government anymore, because they have to convince themselves that they are loyal to the government, because this is the government of the Mahdi. So the Islamic Republic, what they argue is that they need an Islamic country, a Shia Islamic country in power, to prepare Mahdi's army. The Mahdi to come eventually will inherit the armed forces of the Iranian government to be able to eventually attack the whole entire world. And if the Islamic regime falls, the Mahdi to come will not have an army. So that's the entirety of the excuse for being part of the IRGC.
It is so. People who are not very much familiar with the ideology and the sentiments of Iran may not be entirely aware of that aspect. But people who know about Iran's history a little bit probably know this part. But that is a huge fundamental thing to the Islamic regime, right? Because so in Islam, both Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims believe that there is this guy who is going to come at the end, who is the Mahdi, the savior, who will come and basically unite the Muslims and do the final fight for Allah before the Islamic version of Jesus comes, and they join each other and all of that. But in Shia Islam, especially in 12th Shia Islam, and in the specific ideology that formed Iran as it is today, the Mahdi is even more important and plays a huge central figure. So there is great devotion to the coming of that Mahdi, and the people are constantly advised to be good Muslims, great Muslims, to be flawless, to preserve Islamic tradition and sentiment as much as possible, because he will come and they have to do whatever it takes to prepare his play so that he, I don't even understand the whole thing. Like, could they fail? Could they not give him enough when he is here? Or I don't know.
It was weird because they're crying. I see people crying about it. Like, if this regime falls, what is Mahdi going to do? I was like, I thought he has superpowers. I didn't know he needs your army. I'm like, what the?
That's the funny thing that I think about when they say that stuff. Like, isn't that a divine plan? Like, why are you afraid that you're going to fail or anything? It's weird.
Another thing I see these religious people cry about is the fact that women are now, they say naked. By naked, they mean hijabless. In Iran, religious people say naked, they mean like bareheaded. So they are crying about that because they say we gave martyrs for the hijab. Like, we gave so much blood so that we could have an Islamic regime, and look at all our women now walking naked in the street, right? So the thing is that this is such you have people who never had an Islamic mindset or didn't grow up in an Islamic environment, don't understand how much the control over women's body is a priority. Right, the idea of managing a woman. This is why we have words like ta'assub or namus. I don't know if you guys have the same things as well, but the idea that women shouldn't be free to just wear whatever they want or go wherever they want, it seems to be one of the highest priorities of Islamic ideology, or even just conservative ideology in general, right? But more so with Islam. This is why we have honor killings in Islam, right? Because the amount of shame and disgust that you feel that is associated with one female member of your family going out and doing something that they're not supposed to, you will the reason why people do honor killing is to just wash that disgust away from them from their manhood and from their family. Like they think that their entire identity has been challenged as a man when the woman in their family does something like that, right? And this and also a woman gets brainwashed, religious women get brainwashed to accept this by saying that, your men would want, if women get to be this free, your men would never want you, your men would want other women because they're walking naked in the streets and stuff like that, right? So they use
isn't
fear
that so pathetic? I mean, completely putting aside the fact that this is a very loose, inappropriate definition of what naked means. To just women showing their hair, but being so insecure and so anxiety ridden about women being free and not tightly within your grips, doing whatever you want them to do, not being exactly where you want to put them, not being honorable enough. No, a woman is free. She is not respecting the restrictions of honor that you have placed around her, which can be very, very dangerous, which can be horrible. It can be painful for you. And what will all the other people say? And what will society come to? And what will the government say? And what will the Mahdi do about this? It's so pathetic. It is just so incredibly pathetic by the same people who think that they have some great privilege and some great strength in the world and some great spiritual strength. It is just so completely idiotically pathetic. What losers. What a loserly sentiment.
Okay, but yeah, it's pathetic, but we could weaponize it. And
Yeah.
here's how. So I have watched and listened to hours of religious people being so anxious about this direction that the society in Iran going. Women crying about it, men crying about it, women like how we will lose our husbands. Men was crying about what about my daughters? How could I make my daughter religious in this environment? Like my daughters will become like these other girls, right? And so them not being able to control their women, and women thinking about them not being able to control their husbands because their eyes will wander with other women. And this is such a high priority for them that they're willing to give everything for it. Like these are people who wouldn't care if the Islamic Republic just crushes the economy, that they would rather live in poverty and have this chain on women than live prosperous lives and let women be free. And they're not only that, they're willing to die for it. They're willing. They say other people in Iran gave blood so that we have an Islamic regime where women are not naked in the streets, and we will follow their way. And they are warning the regime. They're like, you better enforce the laws. So like, is this an Islamic country or is this not an Islamic country? Because if you do not continue to enforce these laws, we will start a revolution. And this is why, and there's two revolutions that are happening in Iran right now, right? And this second revolution might be the bigger one. So we have a majority of Iranians that are in the streets that are against the regime, and some of them are in the street that are trying to topple the government. And no matter how many waves they hit the regime with, they themselves are not able to topple the regime, right?
Mhm.
But by this civil disobedience, they are turning the religious people against the government. So these people's anxiety is exactly what we need. So this is a Frankenstein monster. This is like what the regime has created. You know how Saudi Arabia created ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and then eventually Al-Qaeda turned on the Saudi government? This is something like that, but much, much worse, because it's internal and it's within the government. This division between the religious people and the government itself, this is exactly what could eventually topple the government. So as much as we hate the sensitivity of religious people over this thing, here it might actually work in our favor.
Yeah.
So these women in the street without their hijab are actually turning the uber religious part of the Iranian people against the government, and that's eventually what might actually bring the whole thing down.
Mhm.
Does it make sense what I'm saying? Like, I
No,
hope I
it, no,
explained
it,
well.
it does definitely. I mean, and that's the point of exactly picking out the sensitivities of such people, and then in order to crush the source of that sensitivity, you have to use their sensitivities against them. In that case, that would be exactly that. You're right. It makes sense, and that's basically what we're doing with the. Sorry if I just made a noise here. That's basically what we're doing with the Quran, in response to people saying you cannot do that. This is so valuable. This is the most valuable thing, and
Mm.
we then just use that, especially. Yeah.
One last thing. Somebody in the live chat is saying, Armin, your revolution will never succeed. I'm sorry to tell you, maybe in 9,000 years. Well, I have news for you. The revolution has already succeeded and it will continue to succeed. Just look at Iran, okay, now and 20 years ago. And 20 years ago compared to 40 years ago, okay? So this is not a overnight revolution. This is you chipping away slowly at the roots of this regime, and it's a slow fall, but it's falling. We are already seeing it, and it's actually happening faster than many people than I ever anticipated. The revolution is already taking place. Just go look in Iran and see how much freer people are, because they have taken this freedom by force from the government. Yeah, let me actually get my phone.
Just casually.
Just casual. Well, you should do the spit as well.
Just casual. I don't like spitting. I never liked
You
spitting.
don't like it?
No, I don't like spitting. I just want to casually do this all the time, just to desensitize, just to normalize. I want a time when people are like, "Why are you still doing this? Nobody cares anymore." And I'll be like, "Good, perfect."
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point.
That would be good. That
Wait.
would be good.
We should. You know what we should do? We should do ASMR. Have you ever tried?
Probably.
This is Surah Baqarah.
You need to get a special microphone for that, which they use for ASMR.
Yeah, I need to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Watch out. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Does that work? I don't know how. I don't know how to do ASMR.
That was actually quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A. Hitchens said, "Please show Armin the ridiculous Pakistani shit." Did you see that video? We recently reviewed that a video on here with David Wood, which Harris Sultan, I think, he translated it into English actually from Urdu, where those Pakistani scholars are crying on TV and complaining because people are disrespecting Islam.
That was insane.
I laughed so hard. The funny thing is, we decided to watch that video live, and I only clicked through it a little bit. I didn't even know what exactly it is about. All I knew is that they are complaining about people disrespecting the Quran. And then we are watching the video, and then only on the live stream I'm finding out that the guy says people are writing the Prophet's name on their private parts. I lost it. The whole stream was just messed up, man. I don't know.
I don't know if he understands that because of his stream, a lot of people might now do that more, because people didn't think about doing that, but now you just gave him an idea. That's like an Andrew Tate backfire, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be responsible for people writing Muhammad.
Yeah, people shouldn't be doing this. I don't know. Can you draw in Quran? What do you mean, like draw something in? Can you do you mean is it possible to do it? I don't know. I could draw something. I would try. I'll probably draw something nice on Quran pages. This should be. At this point, I want to start a daily show where every day I rip up the Quran, and talk a little bit, like every night. just expecting everyone to come until nobody shows up anymore because nobody cares anymore. That'd be
Wait, how many surahs do you know? Do you know? Have you?
I used to
just-
know all of the the last 10. Then
Oh, yeah.
I used
So
to
it's
know
easier.
Ayatul Kursi. I used to know several others like Suratin and Shams Qamar and all the others. But I
Do
don't, I
an
don't,
MSMR.
I don't know
Do
any
one
of those
video.
anymore.
Do a 10-minute video of ASMR where you recite one of the surahs,
Man,
and you
that's good.
just yeah,
That's a good idea.
I think it will go viral. I think it will go viral.
That's a good idea. Like, I mean, like example, like I recite Fatiha. I don't have Fatiha here right now. I don't even know what
We call
they're,
it. You call it Fatah. We call it Hamd.
they're all on the. Oh yeah, in Turkish they say Elham, which I never said. I thought that's stupid. But yeah, so I'm like.
That will go viral. 10 minutes of that will go viral. Do it. Do it.
I might do that. I need to get proper microphones for that. Anyway, it's good that we talked about this and brought attention to it. I want to actually show one thing too. Wait a second, what was that? Somebody made a super chat. ES1002 said, "Guys, draw blasphemous art of Mopus." Mopus is Muhammad, which I normally always say in response to somebody name calling me or someone else. People do that all the time. I can't do that right now. Not right now.
Well, I mean, you could go to blasphemousart.com where we at Atheist Republic have a lot of blasphemous art of Muhammad. If you
see, they do. I want to bring people's attention. Bring something once again to people's attention here. To have a little minute of seriousness, and sorry about that, which is if we look at what is actually happening in Iran, we talked about executions earlier and how these executions are done, and I don't even know how appropriate this is to show on a YouTube video, but here it's on an article. But imagine, or this is considered normal there. Imagine that this is normal in your country where you live. In the West, this is totally unimaginable for an average Western person. But imagine this here. Imagine this is going on where you are. People being lifted and displayed like this with cranes, with these rusty cranes, with the noose around their neck, slowly lifted and killed in agony because they deserve. Imagine this picture where you live. Imagine this. Imagine somebody being lifted in public with a crane. This is the purpose of a crane. Yeah, well, floggings, all the other
cutting
stuff.
That's a cutting of hand for
Yeah,
this guy like they stole so little. Like one guy lost his hand for stealing a sheep, and then the people in the government are stealing millions and millions and sometimes billions of dollars, and nothing ever happens to them. But somebody, because of poverty, goes and steals a sheep and they lose their hand. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is just, I don't know. And here's a graph of global execution tally. Iran is second only to China, but with a much smaller population.
Highest when it comes to per capita. Highest, but like relative to the population, Iran is the highest country when it comes to execution.
Yeah. So according to Amnesty International, this is what you have. China is here with a huge population, thousands of killings, and then second following you have Iran with a much smaller population, a huge number of executions. And then, of course, you have Saudi Arabia, Iraq,
Of course.
Egypt, and then compared to that, USA, larger population, 22. Well, this is how messed up the numbers are here. I know. Yeah. Wait, what was that? There. Oh, he
Naveed
was
Afkari.
okay.
He was executed as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should see the court proceedings. The way they do this is such a kangaroo court. It's insane. Like, I can do an entire stream about how the court proceeding goes and how ridiculous it is. And they show it. They publicly show it as if they're proud of it. It's an embarrassment to any legal system anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Let me show you something. Bless. Do you want me to show you the blasphemous art that we do, just as an example?
If it's not containing any not safe for work stuff.
It does involve two men kissing, but no nudity.
Okay, you should just quickly display it here. Okay, just to advertise it.
No, so you people ask for blasphemous art of Muhammad, okay? And this is, we at Atheist Republic, we draw blasphemous art. You could find all our blasphemous art.
Wait. Can we display the limited? Can we limit the displaying only to Islam?
Oh,
do you have an only Islam collection?
We do have only Islam art as well, but this one is Lord Rama and Muhammad kissing each other. This is not even disrespectful. Here's the point. We draw art that shouldn't be even disrespectful. This is like a beautiful, wholesome kiss between Lord Rama and Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
This is wholesome, right? But people find it insulting. But look, we draw Muhammad.
I don't care about Rama. I just want to usually limit the stuff here on the Apostate Prophet channel on Islam. I personally don't care for these those guys.
Yeah. well, this is a compliment to both of them. By the way, so we have all this art at blasphemousart.com. If you guys want to go, we have like so many of this. Like, if you go to the this is Kali and Muhammad. This is Fatima and Aisha. So this is fully Islamic. Here, this is fully Islamic. No Hindu here. Yeah. By the way, you know why it says Ba'da Muhammad at the top?
What?
After. Because when Muhammad died, Aisha was 18. So we wanted to make sure both Fatima and Aisha are above 18.
Okay.
To make this. So this is why it says Ba'da Muhammad. Yeah. Like after Muhammad died. Yeah.
That makes sense. No, yeah. I immediately get a little bit of a worrying, cringe feeling when you say Aisha, and I think, wait a minute. because of her possible age, But yeah, that's
no. She's 18. She's right after Muhammad died. This is what she did with Fatima. Fatima is Muhammad's daughter. Yeah,
probably. That's probably what they did.
Yeah.
All right.
This is history, guys.
So you can find this where?
Blasphemousart.com.
Blasphemousart.com. Okay. Wonderful. If for all those who asked for blasphemous Muhammad stuff, which I cannot draw right now, you can go and find that right there. Wait, what? Wait a minute. What would you say? Is it not a good idea to make animations about the most ridiculous parts of Muhammad's life? People, would you not crowdfund this great project?
We are doing that as blasphemousart.com as well. We are doing that. Yeah. So,
and I was doing an animated show about it, but yeah. I'll have to get back to that sometime. Did you ever watch the first episode of Prophet Tales?
No.
The animated. No, you must have seen that. Come on.
Wait.
The Prophet Tales, the thing that I did. You must have seen. If you haven't seen that, then I don't know you, and I will never have you here.
Oh wait, I've seen this. Yeah,
of course. A long time ago. Now you're saying that just because I said this.
Oh my God! I blasphemed against our prophet.
Yeah. No, okay. No, there will be more of that stuff in the future. No, it's great that we covered this, Armin. I hope things go well. I hope things change for the better. It certainly looks like there is a great movement growing, and I hope for the best. We need more people to pay attention to this.
Well, thank you for letting me use your platform to do that. I appreciate that.
No problem. Always. Anything else that you want to say to conclude?
Well, can I tell people where me and Susanna give updates like this about things that are happening around the world about religion? I want to.
No.
Is it okay if I do so? No, it's
No.
okay. Okay, no, I can't.
Why are you even asking me? Just go ahead.
No, okay. Guys, like me and Susanna, we have a show on Atheist Republic. If you guys want to make sure that you get updates on stuff like this that happens around the world, come and check out our YouTube channel, Atheist Republic. And the reason why I ask is because I don't know if you want people to do self-promotion on your channel, because I already did so much stuff. Yeah, okay. So guys, we every week, me and Susanna, we cover 10 different news items about religion, atheism, secularism from all around the world. It's from Turkey, from Iran, from the United States, from Bangladesh, from Indonesia, from Philippines, from Egypt, all over the world, from Europe, from Kenya, South Africa, everywhere and there's religion news. We pick the 10 most important ones and we cover them. So if you want to know what's happening religion related around the world, Atheist Republic is a good YouTube channel to check out. Oh, people are saying just subscribe. Thank you.
Yeah, subscribe to Atheist Republic if you want to know more, especially with a focus on not especially with a focus on, but when something is going on in Iran, Armin and Susanna cover it very, very well and very closely, so you can find updates and commentary there all the time. When most ex-Muslim or atheist channels do not comment on it, you can always find something on Atheist Republic. So I would recommend, and shout out also to Susanna, who's also here. Subscribe to Atheist Republic and find more updates there. And thank you, Armin, for doing this. Thank you for drawing attention to this and for joining. It's always a pleasure. I'm always happy to, and I hope to do another show with you again very soon.
Hopefully with better news next time.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a fantastic day. I will how can I do that without me?
Sorry.
I will be back soon with more, and we'll probably have another live stream sometime this week. We'll also have a very important live stream next Monday, but before that, also be back again on the weekend with David Wood, and still trying to get back to publishing videos. And here A. Hitchens said, "Is Armin single? 10 out of 10."
No, thank you though.
And with that said, listen to what Armin says. Yes, yeah. You say it.
Oh, I should. Oh, stay away from Islam. Oh, yeah. That was. I was waiting for you to say.
But hey, I have somebody else.
Stay away from Islam. Yeah.
And here's going to be somebody else also saying it for us.
Stay away from Islam.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. See you.
Wow. Wait. What?